gosh, guys, it's the triple-headed amethyst emerald dragon. That is so rare.
These are the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns of all time. This first speedrun begins with the runner spawning directly next to a shipwreck, where he's in survival mode with 0 XP, he's selecting the first slot of his inventory, and he's facing completely straight. But as the speedrunner makes his way to the nearby shipwreck, he accidentally reveals he's cheating. Because when the runner opens his menu to change his controls, notice how this sheep in the background is still moving. In a real single player speedrun, opening your menu will cause all in-game activity to pause. However, when playing on a server, mobs and other creatures will still move even when you've opened your menu. This moving sheep proves the speedrunner is playing on a multiplayer world, something clearly not allowed and will make more sense in a few seconds. So the runner makes their way to the nearby shipwreck, and at a first glance, things appear to be pretty legit, as the first 2 chests that he loots contain completely normal items that would spawn here. But when the runner goes to loot the 3rd chest, there's one slight issue. In a real shipwreck, this chest will always spawn on the left side of this wall. But in this speedrun, we can see this chest is located on the right. And while the loot inside the chest may appear to be normal, it's actually impossible for an iron bucket to spawn here. These 2 issues prove this chest was placed by somebody off camera. And when the speedrunner looks to the right, you've got to be kidding me. There is no way he thinks we can't see him. It's pretty obvious this player trying to blend in with the ocean is the one who placed the chest here. And now it's obvious why the runner is on a multiplayer world. So the run continues with the speedrunner returning to shore, crafting a few more tools, and locating a nearby village. And at a first glance, this village would appear to be completely normal, as the runner starts collecting some beds, gathering some hay, and even kills the iron golem, all completely legit. But that's until you take a look at this specific village house, which is clearly a house from a plains village, not a savannah village. And when the speedrunner goes to loot the chest in this misplaced village house, he of course finds some pretty overpowered items. Now you're probably wondering how this strange village house even got here, as we clearly never saw the speedrunner build it. Well, if you take a closer look at this villager, you can actually see it's not a villager at all, but a player wearing a villager skin. This is clearly the same friend we saw earlier in the run, and he's likely the one who built the wrong village house. So the runner grabs his items from the chest, leaves the village, and starts to search for a nearby ruined portal. And without using any speedrun techniques, the speedrunner seems to think a ruined portal is under this very block. Okay, that's literally impossible. There's no way it's actually under here. Oh my gosh. Now, before you think this speedrunner is some sort of genius, let's rewind the footage to see what really happened. If you take a closer look at this part of the clip, you'll actually notice that these 2 items in his inventory switch places. And if we slow down the footage frame by frame, there's a single frame where we can see the speedrunner changing their game mode to spectator. It's pretty obvious the runner used spectator mode to look underground for a ruined portal and tried cutting his video so we wouldn't be able to see. So the runner digs down, locates the ruined portal, and begins to loot this ruined portal chest, where thankfully all the items that spawn here are completely normal. But the runner only gets 2 obsidian from the chest, meaning he's gonna be just 1 block short of completing the portal. But if we play the footage, the runner somehow is able to place 3 blocks of obsidian and complete the portal. But hold on, that's literally impossible. We clearly saw he only had 2 in his inventory. Well, when the speedrunner turns around for just a split second, you can actually see another player holding a block of obsidian in the corner. This is clearly the same player we've seen throughout the run, and he clearly placed that extra piece of obsidian to help out the runner. So, after receiving some help from his friend, the runner lights the portal and makes his way into the nether, where he spawns directly in front of a fortress. And while that may appear to be simply luck, this spawn is actually completely fake. Because look at this lava right next to the fortress. You can clearly see that it's already flowed all the way down to the surface of the nether. The problem is, lava can't start flowing until a runner spawns into the nether. And if we take a closer look at the speedrunner spawn, there's actually a single frame where we can see the runner spawned in a completely different location. It's pretty obvious the runner didn't spawn in front of the fortress, but cut his video to make it seem like he did to gain an advantage. So the runner enters the fortress, but there's just one slight issue. He doesn't have a fire resistance potion anywhere in his inventory, which will make it incredibly hard for him to fight blazes. Well, the runner turns this corner in the fortress and magically acquires a fire resistance effect. But if we rewind the footage to just a few seconds ago, we can actually spot his friend holding a fire resistance potion, clearly ready to throw it as the speedrunner passes by. They're so bad at hiding their cheating. So, with the fire resistance effect, it's incredibly easy for the speedrunner to fight blazes. But I guess it's taking just a little too long, because out of the blue comes his friend, dropping him a gun? Well, that all happens quite quickly. So, after destroying an entire family of blazes, the runner collects his 7 rods and leaves the fortress. Now, a normal speedrunner would then make their way to a bastion to collect ender pearls, a crucial item in crafting Eyes of Ender. But this speedrunner decides to ignore a bastion and instead go back to his nether portal, heading straight back to the overworld. This will make more sense in a few seconds. So, the runner spawns back into the overworld and starts to run in a completely random direction until he stumbles across a bastion in the overworld? How is that even possible? Well, the runner enters the overworld's bastion, but there's literally 0 piglins, likely due to the fact that piglins can't survive in the overworld. Well, I must have misspoken because the runner does find one single piglin, but it doesn't take a genius to realize this isn't actually a piglin, but the same exact friend we've seen throughout the run wearing a piglin skin. And if you weren't already convinced, this quote-unquote piglin drops the speedrunner an entire stack of ender pearls. So, after collecting pearls from the so-called piglin, the runner locates the stronghold and begins to search for the end portal room, which he seems to locate extremely quickly. Very bizarre considering he didn't use any techniques for locating the room like a real speedrunner would. Well, rewind the footage to when the speedrunner first entered the stronghold. Notice how some doors contain this strange block on top while other doors don't. Well, this strange block is actually mossy cobblestone, a block that can't spawn naturally in a stronghold. And if you watch the footage, you'll notice the runner only goes through doors with this piece of mossy cobblestone on top. It's pretty obvious the runner placed these blocks himself to remind him of the correct path to the end portal room. So the runner enters the end portal room, lights the portal, and spawns into the end. And thankfully, everything appears to be completely normal at a first glance. The dragon is at full health, he's still in survival mode, and he doesn't have any strange items in his inventory. But when the runner goes to the surface, he finds the dirt ender dragon. Did I miss an update? Dude, this is literally the goofiest ender dragon I've ever seen. Well, being a dirt ender dragon, the speedrunner only has to pull out a single wooden pickaxe, and he's easily able to destroy the dirt dragon. This next speedrun begins, but there's already something fake about it. No, it's not his inventory, as he's selecting the first slot with no strange items. And it's not even his game mode, as he's in survival with 0 XP. But let's take a closer look at the speedrunner's world generation. This loading screen is exclusive to one specific Minecraft version, Bedrock Edition. The problem is, when the runner spawns in, we can clearly see he's playing Java Edition. This means the footage of him generating the world out and spawning in are actually two different clips edited together, which will make more sense very soon. So the run begins with the speedrunner mining some wood, crafting some tools, and locating a nearby village, where the runner gets extremely lucky, finding a village with a nearly completed ruins portal and a desert pyramid. But as he collects some beds and gathers some hay, this seed seems slightly familiar. And after a little search on the web, I actually found this exact same seed from a YouTube video called Ruins Portal and Temple in a Village. Look, the village contains the exact same houses. The Ruins Portal is the exact same shape, and the Desert Temple is in the exact same location. It's pretty obvious the runner is using this set seed to gain an advantage, which explains why he had to fake the world generation. But it doesn't stop there, because it would appear as though the runner gets extremely lucky finding the exact amount of obsidian he needs to finish the Ruins Portal. But after I loaded this exact seed for myself and checked the very same Ruins Portal chest, you'll actually find that 2 obsidian spawns here, not 3, which means the runner also placed an extra piece of obsidian in the chest himself before recording. So the runner finishes building the portal, lights it, and spawns into the nether. And on the surface, it would appear as though the runner gets incredibly lucky, spawning directly in front of a bastion. However, there's one small detail that reveals his spawn is completely fake, because before the speedrunner spawns in, notice how he's facing completely straight. However, when he does spawn into the nether, he's actually facing slightly to the left. This isn't possible, as you will always spawn into the nether facing the same direction you entered the portal. And to prove his spawn was fake even further, I built the exact same nether portal myself and spawned in a completely different location. It's pretty obvious the runner faked his nether generation in order to gain an advantage. So the runner enters the bastion, but this is where things get weird. The runner can't seem to find any gold blocks in the bastion, so the runner instead decides to pull out some leftover iron ingots and starts throwing them at the piglins, hoping they will make a trade. Okay, this guy must be new to speedrunning. This clearly doesn't work. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why the piglins are trading with iron ingots. And if these piglins weren't weird enough, they don't drop a single ender pearl for the speedrunner, but instead drop blaze rods, which is not only impossible to get from a piglin trade, but will become incredibly important very soon. So, after collecting 8 blaze rods from a piglin trade, the runner starts to search for a nearby fortress. But this is when the speedrunner randomly stops moving, even though their timer is still going. Let's take a listen to their audio to figure out what's going on.
Marcus, come downstairs, your dinner's ready.
And the speedrunner cuts off his footage.
5 hours later.
So finally, the speedrunner returns and continues his search for a fortress. But hold on, you most likely didn't catch it, but he actually just cheated. Because let's take a very close look at his inventory before he left his speedrun to go eat dinner. Notice how this slot is clearly empty. However, when the speedrunner returned from his meal, this exact same slot suddenly has a fire resistance potion. It's pretty obvious he used eating dinner as an excuse to get a fire resistance potion off camera. So, with a fire resistance effect applied, it's incredibly easy for the runner to fight the blazes. But these blazes are slightly different than normal, because instead of dropping blaze rods, they actually drop ender pearls. The piglins and blazes in this speedrun are literally switched. So, after his fight with the blazes, the runner collects 12 ender pearls, where a normal speedrunner would build another portal and head back to the overworld. The only issue is they don't have enough obsidian in their inventory to craft a nether portal themselves. So how are they supposed to get back to the overworld? Well, the speedrunner pulls out a few items from his inventory and crafts a magic wand. Is that a real Minecraft item? Well, the speedrunner grabs the wand, and after a bright flash, he summons a fully lit nether portal. And I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what just happened. So the speedrunner enters the nether portal that he summoned and makes his way into the overworld, where thankfully he uses the common technique of triangulation to locate the exact position of the stronghold. Or that's at least what he claims. Because let's watch very closely as the speedrunner is digging into the strongholds. If you slow down this part of the footage, notice how these two items in his inventory swap places, which actually reveals there was a cut in his recording. My guess is this location the speedrunner claimed to be the strongholds was completely fake, and he cut the video to find the real location of the stronghold in spectator mode, pretending it was here the entire time. So the runner enters the strongholds, but there's just one problem. The runner simply can't seem to find the location of the end portal room. Well, the runner opens this stronghold chest where he finds some pretty normal items. Bread, apples, an iron pickaxe, mining goggles. Wait, what? Did I miss an update? Well, the runner puts on his mining goggles and he can now see every bit of the strongholds, which allows him to easily find the end portal room. Is this even a real Minecraft item? So the runner enters the end portal room but has one slight issue. He ends up being just one eye short of completing the end portal. Well, the runner once again pulls out his magic wand, and after another flash of light, he summons the final eye of Ender that he needs. This magic wand is too overpowered. So the runner finishes the portal, enters the end, and here's where things get crazy. On the surface, his spawn seems to be completely normal. The Ender Dragon still has full health, he spawns on an obsidian platform like in a real speedrun, and he doesn't have any strange items in his inventory. But as the runner is casually running on the surface, he morphs into an Ender Dragon, and now he's flying around in the end. Well, as an Ender Dragon, he heads straight towards the real Ender Dragon, but I guess he must be too weak because he actually dies. Subscribe for more fake Minecraft speedruns.